Hello, very good morning and welcome to Athavan newspaper highlights. Today is Sunday, 8th of January 2017. This is Edward with the highlights of today's English newspapers. As usual, we have three leading weekly newspapers for the highlights: Sunday Observer, Sunday Times and Ceylon Today. Firstly, let's have a look on the Sunday Observer. $5 billion investment in Hambantota. 1,235 acres for industrial zone. Chinese financiers are ready to invest $5 billion in the Hambantota industrial zone in the next few years, and 55 of them have already committed to invest in the industrial zone. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe told guests at the foundation laying ceremony for the Sri Lanka-China Industrial Zone Development Project in Mijravila, Hambantota yesterday. The Chinese investments are expected to generate 100,000 jobs in Sri Lanka in the next few years. Hybrid courts with international judges. President to state his position today. President Maithripala Sirisena is expected to make his position known on the recommendation of the hybrid court by the Consultation Task Force on Reconciliation Mechanisms at an event commemorating his second year in office at the BMICH today. An official at the Presidential Secretariat said the Consultation Task Force, after concluding hearing of public views, has recommended that Sri Lanka should have hybrid courts with at least one international judge to hear allegations of war crimes and crimes against humanity, while stressing that all four reconciliations mechanisms, judicial mechanisms, Office of Missing Persons, Truth, Justice, Reconciliation and Non-Recurrence Commission should have credible international participation. Secondly, let's move to Sunday Times. SLFP wants executive presidency retained and Sirisena to contest. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party wants to retain the executive presidency and has decided that Maithripala Sirisena should be the party's candidate at the 2020 presidential election. The unanimous decision came at a meeting of SLFP ministers just after last Tuesday's weekly ministerial session. It was summoned by President Sirisena to brief them on his plans for 2017. He completes his second year in office today and begins with third from tomorrow. It was decided that devolution of power should be only through the 13th amendments to the Constitution, and there will be no merger of the northern and eastern provinces, a demand by the Tamil National Alliance. Though in the opposition, this is the basis on which the TNA extended support to the government. Clashes erupt as government launches southern development projects. The launch of the government's ambitious development projects in the Hambantota district yesterday was marred by violent clashes between rival groups and police, leaving at least 22 people injured. An Italian company that was reported to be investing in a $75 million tire production plant in Sri Lanka under the Board of Investment has distanced itself from the project. Finally, let's move to Ceylon Today. The main headline says, Mayhem in Mijravila. 52 arrested, 23 injured, including monks, policemen and journalists. 10 private and 4 police vehicles damaged. Police unleashed the water cannon treatment to break up the mob, which included the new formed Buddhist monks organization to protect the Magambura Hambantota harbour, parliamentarians Udaya Gammanpila, Dallas Alagaperama and former UA Chief Minister Shashindra Rajapaksa that launched a protest demonstration at the inauguration ceremony of the Sri Lanka-China Logistics and Industrial Zone in Mijravila, Hambantota yesterday morning. The protests stormed the venue of the ceremony, denouncing government's plans to establish the new development project. We want an anti-UNP government, says Namal Rajapaksa. The following are his statements during an interview. Not sure this government will exist until Sinhala New Year. There are problems between Prime Minister and President. The cracks in the government have started appearing. We cannot form coalition governments with the UNP. The growth in Singapore port is 5 to 10% a year, but ours was over 100 to 200%. We urge the government not to sell the nerve centers to cover up its inability. But then let's come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to Athavan Newspaper Highlights.